Discussion on the nature of the heart as it relates to us as souls, as it relates to us in the journey that we have living in this body, and the mind and the self and the struggles we have in this world. We talked about yesterday that the fundamental diseases of the heart are related in two categories: doubts and desire. Doubts and desire. And so the origin of the influential factor of these doubts and desire, when we go back to the Quran and the Sunnah, is an enemy that we all have. And that enemy is the source of the true sickness of the heart. And that is distancing ourselves from Allah Azza wa Jal. So in Arabic, the word shatana, sheen, ta, noon, it means ba'uda. It means to be distanced, to go away from. And so the title that was given to Iblis, so Iblis is a jinn. Iblis was the first jinn according to the more appealing, rooted understanding of the interpretation. And he actually had a free will that he was not aware of. And he was challenged to be a servant, and he was for a long time. And his servanthood as a believer, as a creation of Allah Azza wa Jal, was on choice, according to the proper understanding, for a very long time. Until what happened? When did the first deviation from Islam happen? When he was told to bow down. When he was told, I have created this other being named Adam, the human being, and I'm preferring him and his category over you and the rest. And so he told Iblis and the angels to bow down to this respected creation. Before that, every time he was told to do anything, he never thought twice. It was natural. He was a pure Muslim. He was a pure, natural, obedient servant of God. But then in that moment, something happened within him. And in Salat al-Fajr, we recited what happened. قَالَ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتُهُ مِنْ طِينٍ. That I am better than him. You created me of fire, and I'm before. And he's just created of the mud of this earth. It's basically the beginning of racism as a concept. My category is better than his category, which is arbitrary and has no value at all. It just happens to be that you're created from this and you're created from that. At the end of the day, Iblis should have known by natural order of things that what would give you value is your alignment with the creator of the heavens and the earth. That's all that matters. And so at this moment, he was given this title of Shaitan. So Shaitan is not a being, it is a title of many beings. Min al-jinnati wan nas. There are jinns and humans who are shayateen, right? We see them all over the place, and we feel the presence of that in the world around us. And so that is where this distancing us from Allah comes from. It's the shatana, right? To move something away from what it should be close to. And so in the Quran, we have the ayah in Surah Al-Mu'minun. Do you think that we have created all of you with no purpose? عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. That you will not be brought back to us. Right? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Now, the custom has treated this ayah that it's only used when someone dies. But according to the ayah before it, it happens when any hardship comes to you. Meaning what? When you feel you need Allah. When you feel that you are in a situation where you don't have His mercy. You're feeling like that. Some bad has happened to me. I've had loss in my wealth, in my family, in myself, and my goods, and so forth and so on. And so now you are needing Him, so you would go to Him and not away from Him. So we are raji'un, right? We are in a state of going back to Allah, right? That's who we are. That's what we are doing in this world. Shaitan is like, no, 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 no. Let me move you on. Let me move you aside here. Let me push you away. That's the plan. And so he has various, methods of infecting us, as we said. And the ayah that we recited from Surah Al-A'raf, that لَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ, that I'm going to make attractive to them all of the worldly material things. And he says, I'm going to come to them from in front of them, from behind them, from on their right, from on their left. I will never let them be safe from this plan of proving. He said, I am going to mislead all of them. When he was given the respite, theoretically, Shaitan could have said, Astaghfirullah. Wallahi, Ya Rab, irhamni, irfirli. But at no point did he do that, because arrogance is so powerful. Once you think you're right and you know, and you are so proud of yourself and what you think you know, even you could tell God to his face that you're wrong and I'm right. You see? And this is the nature of the downfall of all of human beings. If we honestly look into it, the root of all sins that everyone is doing is somehow related to arrogance or covetousness, envy, hasad, desire. Right? It's the self, the ego, and the desire and the want. You see? And all of the evil is coming from that. And so we've been infected by that. And so the nufus of this world, the people living in this world, are all infected. The Prophet ﷺ, Ash-Shaytan yajri min ibn Adam majra dam, that the notion of easily being afflicted by distanced shaitan from the nature of human beings is like the blood flowing through our veins. It's that close. So now when we're hearing these things, we should never feel safe. We should never feel like, well, alhamdulillah, I'm a believer and I know Islam and that's arrogance in the religion right there. Shaitan probably loves most to have an arrogant, corrupted Muslim who believes he or she is religious and pious. And yet this person is doing his work as a pious religious Muslim. And we see these people. There are certain leaders who, when they promote themselves and all the evil they're doing, they do it as a pious, as a real believing Muslim. And they will say that. And now some of us might think that they're full-blown hypocrites, but actually, they may actually believe that they are being pious Muslims. And that they know what's right. And what's best. And so that's where the shaitan has gotten to. So that's where we have this filth in us, إِنَّمَا الْمُشْرِكُونَ نَجِسٌ. The polytheists are najis. It's not because there are probably many OCD people who are having polytheistic beliefs that are much more clean than you and I, right? But it is a spiritual impurity that they have been willing to worship a statue or a sun or a moon or a human being, knowing good and well that that thing was created and it has a creator, and nothing logically, rationally should be worshipped other than the one entity that is uniquely, singularly responsible and having authority for everything. Everything else is under his authority, dependent fully on him. So it makes no sense to worship anything else. So that is the ultimate impurity. So he says in the Quran, إِنَّمَا الْخَمْرُ وَالْمَيْسِرُ وَالْأَنْصَابُ وَالْأَزْلَامُ رِجِسٌ مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ فَاجْتَنِبُوا. So he says, alcohol, gambling, idol worship, and these superstitious arrow things that they used to do, divination, all of those are the filthy work of shaitan to distance you from Allah. And so, فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. You should stay away from those things in order to succeed. Which is succeed. What is success? It's coming close to Allah as you live your life, and then when you die, you then are worthy of going to Him and being in His presence. And so when we look at alcohol, what it does is it completely takes people away from any sense. You know, one of the most interesting things that happens to someone when they drink after they've had a few drinks, they become very proud. They start thinking they know everything and they're so strong and that they're so hot and they're so, handsome, everything. Right then, boom. That's what happens to people drinking alcohol. They foolishly believe they're so much greater and more capable than without that. If the shaitan has got to them. Gambling is this idea that wealth should come by chance. Well, whereas Allah is Al-Qayyum. Everything has an orderly, organized maintenance by which it functions and exists. And earning and maintaining wealth is like that. You don't throw some rocks and hope it turns in a way to gain money. That's not a way to earn money. It makes no sense. It's moving you away from the work that we were called to do to provide with our hands, with our capacity, with our skill set, right? And then idols, again, we talked about. And then divination arrows, it's the same thing. To believe that, like horoscopes and people who had the soothsayers, if they were given any knowledge, which they may have, it came from a shaitan, from a jinn, which came from an angel, which came from Allah, right? But then you don't know when they're telling the truth and when they're telling the falsehood, because those people usually are mixed up with both. And so you should never trust in something that you have no certainty about. So shaitan, his ultimate call, his calling card is self-absorption, selfishness, individualism. And then you see it right now in the way things are here in America. This is I'm an individual. I can define for myself who I am, what I'm going to do, and go against everything logical and rational while doing that. And people are now, everybody wants to become an influencer on the internet. And it's me and my brand and all of that. This is the new way. So when we read the conclusion of the Quran, what is the conclusion of the Quran? Surah Al-Nas. Surah Al-Fatiha opened up and said all things exist and function because there is this merciful creator. And so praise is only worthy to him, and all other things that have done anything significant, it goes back to him because he created it. It's his mercy why those things have anything praiseworthy. And his mercy is the existing reality that will cause everything to flourish and have beauty. But we are accountable and we will be held accountable for our decisions on the Day of Judgment. So we should be fully focused in our commitment to our Creator, Provider, and Sustainer, seeking His guidance, trying to stay on the right path as much as possible, seeking His help in that endeavor. So then the whole surah of Baqarah all the way through Surah Al-Falaq is telling us how to get that guidance and keep it. Then the last surah is saying, okay, you just read this whole book. I'm here to tell you that if you're not aware of your enemy and you think you know this book and you're not paying attention to this enemy who's coming before you, behind you, side, left, up, down, inside out, backwards, running through your veins, if you're not aware of him, if you're not on guard against him, if you're not in a battle, فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا, taking him as a clear enemy, this book will have no value to you, no matter how much you know of it. You will be destroyed. You better stay seeking the support and refuge and favor of the one who created all of humanity. And he is your Lord, and he is your God, and he is your king and your ruler. He is the only one that can protect you against these subtle whispers that are always going to be infecting you and penetrating your inner core soul, your sadr. And there will be jinns to do this, and there will be human beings to do this. So this is our battle. And so we ask Allah that in this month, that we are able to reach a level of commitment and a level of focus in which we win this battle. And that when we die, that our place is in the closeness, proximity to Allah and all of the elect among the prophets and the righteous and the pious and the martyrs and the rest of the people who sacrifice for the sake of Allah against the influences of selfish shaitan influence. Jazakumullah khair.